Thank you very much. I work for Muliru Farmers Conservation Group. What we do as Muliru Farmers Conservation Group, we try to conserve the only remaining forest in Kenya, Kakamega Forest. This is part of the Kini Congolian rainforest that is remaining in Kenya. And due to population pressure with the communities living around the forest, due to poverty, the forest is slowly going down. So this is why I have come to COP11 to try and share my ideas with my fellow colleagues who are doing conservation of biodiversity, come up with new ideas on how we can conserve the forest.
Help us understand the biggest biodiversity challenge in your country and elaborate on how the population pressure is impacting the biodiversity locally.
Yeah, population pressure impacts on biodiversity due to economic pressure. You get more people who are living adjacent to these rich biodiversity areas are very poor, and they only depend on these rich forests for their own survival. So unless we come up with a way on how to improve their livelihoods, the biodiversity will dwindle down and we shall have a lot of problems in future. So this is why we are trying to come up with sustainable ways of how to utilize this biodiversity. Yes.
And what are the specific activities that your organization takes up?
One of the activities that my organization is doing to conserve the Kakamega forest is to try to conserve the medicinal plants that the communities used to get from the forest so that we can conserve it. Because initially the communities would go in the forest, get the medicinal plants and use them in their homes. So what we did was to come up with a way of how to try to conserve the medicinal plants. So we tried to train them, create awareness in schools, in churches, on barazas, on how to conserve the forest. So we came up with one species, the Osmum kilimanjaro plant, which is an endemic plant in Kakamega forest. Slowly the plant was getting diminished because of the pressure on it unsustainable utilization. So we commercialized the plant. We trained the communities on how to domesticate the plant on their farms. Then apart from domesticating the plant on their own farms, they use the plant the way they have been using it, but they get it from their own land, not depending on the forest. So apart from that, we have established a community nature-based enterprise. So the community also manage this enterprise. They sell the leaves of this plant to this enterprise. The enterprise is managed by the community themselves. So they process the leaves into essential oil. Then from the essential oil, they make products. The products they make are branded Nature Up. So the Nature Up products are sold to other markets for them to get income. So the enterprise is like managing the whole enterprise and giving the communities payment for their produce they deliver to the enterprise. Yeah.
So, when you're implementing this, what are the major challenges that you have to face?
Thank you very much for that question. The challenges we faced initially was to train the communities on how to domesticate a plant that they knew that it grew naturally in the forest was a very big challenge, because traditionally they knew the plant was growing naturally in the forest, but now domesticating the plant on their farms, it became a very big challenge. So the only way we came up to convince them was to use a few community members to plant the plant on their farm. Then we paid the communities who had already planted some money. So it was an incentive to the other community members to also come in and join in the plantation. Yeah. Another challenge that we faced was that it was a pilot project. It had never been tested. So getting funding, it was very difficult, because no donor would really want to put his money to a project that has never been tested. So it was a bit challenging. But we appreciate that UNDP Small Grants Program, who gave us the initial funding of $45,000, really assisted us to come up with a project. So slowly by slowly, other donors started coming in. However, also the government, it was difficult for us to convince some of the ministries in the government to allow us to domesticate the plant that is found in the forest. So slowly by slowly, they came to understand the importance of commercializing the plant and domesticating the plant.